Atiyadira bwino.
Yeah.
Uncle Jerome, good to see you.
Same, Patrick. How are you? And it's good
Where
to
have
see
you
you.
been hiding? You
We are
come out
like
again.
Hello, hello. Good evening, Chwempala. Elias Mwisha here, and welcome all to TV Vakwetu. I would advise that everyone mutes their mic, and then you are going to be called upon. Once you're called upon to speak, we're going to you can unmute your mic. This is just to avoid all the feedbacks that come. Thank you, Don Oscar, for doing that. Today is a very, very interesting discussion that is going to be moderated by Brother Jerome. And so we have about 10 on the screen right now. But if after you've spoken and you want to go in the background, please just get yourself off the screen, and then so that we can have as many people contribute. Today, it's a very interesting day because the president has left New York. We understand that Bali Mumwena. But as he is flying, Yakava in Lusaka. So there is something that we had foreseen here on TV Vakwetu. We had foreseen it a few weeks ago, actually, within the first or 2 weeks of the UPND administration, and it appears like it's happening. This is our revolution. Ndelanda pano panto. I mean, in the office at home, but I hope you are able to pick my voice just fine. The reason is we foresaw it and we forewarned. We said ifi tafiri bwino. And so it's very, very unfortunate that this administration, 1 month in, is becoming a firefighting administration. You can't do that, okay? We love this government, we love this administration, we love our president, but just like we said when we were campaigning, we said uyuna chisungu adifye. Fuebene tukastashani tukaifundila. So nomba, that is the responsibility we have. Okweba tuchitashani tuifundile fwenka. Bantu ngatuwa lekedela tiyo chirifye fiala badireo defend. Mama. Hello, ubwafya bulipwako, but he's a good man. Our president, make no mistake, President Hakainde Hichilema is a very good man. And listening to him yesterday made me realize, Okwebati, what a great guy. Very good. Ubwafya wakwebati. Ubwafya wakwebati ama stakeholders vengi. So ngabafula ama stakeholders nomba kuchitashani nanguwamishani umutima. It becomes tough. So nomba tulefo ya tulande kopano nopokwebati. Findu filondorok. But inenshkwete sana big agenda. I think ukwete big agenda, it's Jerome Kanyika. So nomba muimona kwati ni Jerome. Ewa lenga. He's the one that has gathered us here today. Nomba, you see, everything looks rosy until you face what is known as a political reality. Ama politics ngayaba real ni shifintu fiapena. Nangu nao kwataka plan gwino. Nifida Mike Tyson had that everyone has a plan until they are punched in the face. Chino nomba wa punched, they watch the realize alawafya sana. I was almost using ka proverb kamwaka mchibemba. Nomba mwalambwena mupantu. Haba nandi ba shano na hachandi. Balambwena mwati nendi wachibemba sana.
Mamushando mfwe chibemba. Nebo kopa.
Akoka saying ako ka wafya. Nishakalande. But essentially what it means is you have a plan until you are punched in the face. I don't know what I realize what if it happen. Akoka saying kalando kwebate umuntu enda nakaputula kuminwe. Inshallah, and the first part of this say, naranda for the last part of the Jumkashana Ushina enda nakaputula kuminwe, which means you are very innocent, you are very naive, but once you are punched in the face, everyone's to realize that you need to take care of certain other things. Anyway, I hope we can then now begin talking and discussing so that touch the control ka situation. But antu akaka situation that kali controlled. all the gains that we've done in the past month, it will evaporate. The politics are going to take precedent over everything else, and once they take over, nish chapwa. We foresee, personally, I'm foreseeing that Amakadas, they'll go back to bus stations. Because the president, it's not just about a president Nalanda, no. It's about managing the people on the ground. Because by having the bus stops, you can't get them. You can't arrest them. Taparika pokolo ekatama kadas nga balandas basenda ma bus stops. So, ili never chiriko tabariko, mwasa consolidate tumo. You tie all the loose ends and all that. Emoto alosha. Anyway, Jerome, inei tedi ashliande, so I'm going to disappear and leave it to you alone. But Jerome, I think you had a question there for me.
Yeah, I think that's very true. I think things have started to unfold, and I was very happy to see Honorable Mariteta coming out so strong as a politician and as a father of the biggest province in the country, which is Lusaka, and a member of the UPND. I think we need to have all the provincial chairpersons actually countrywide to start coming out and start speaking out on the issues that are affecting the party and the country. Yeah. Now, coming back to the issue of Musha first, I don't know. You said I was supposed to ask you a question, but again, I'm trying to say, because if you're a man of thing now, people hazards at all that. Okay. Ramusha, coming back, before you go, we have a situation here. Let me start first before I come to the junior officers. Let me start with the secretary to cabinet. You saw many times President Hakainde Hichilema, when he was in opposition, complained about the previous administration jailing him, wanting to kill him, and all that. And the person who was the secretary to cabinet to communicate on all those plans and whatever was Simon Miti. But today again, Simon Miti is still the secretary to cabinet to President Hakainde Hichilema, whom the previous administration wanted to kill. I don't know. I want to hear your take over this matter. Before I bring my own other tantrums over this matter.
No. I don't think cabinet was planning to kill the president. I think that's a little high. There was no cabinet plan, Mama. But I'm with you. I'm with you that we need to do better. Okay. We cannot be a firefighting. This government cannot afford to be firefighting. Firefighting, ikesa kuntanshi. Mama. These are self-inflicted things. If you're going back, you can't let it. And Fuebe Kateka Wesu, very nice-hearted. Very nice-hearted. No, but if you have glorious band about Chingona Varandere, they've never had glorious band, Varandiro, but Obusuma Bobe, Ukakudia. Because you are playing nice. Kubantoa Kobat, they are not nice. Because if you see Jerome, these PF guys already know the weakness. They already know that. Because priority, it's reconciling the country and unifying the country. So if a person's priority is unifying the country, here is the thing. It means then that it's the excuse with everything that you have done. And there are signs that can excuse epokali because you've still kept the same guys. So nombana bena bachitashani baberesha. That's the thing. Baberesha. Then the second thing is, if you don't met out discipline on PF, you can't discipline UPND. That's the deal. If PF guys are untouchable, then what makes you think that UPND guys are going to be touchable? No. Therefore, the very thing that you want to achieve becomes a self-defeating purpose because it actually defeats you while you are trying to do something else. That is a little danger that I'm noticing. And so what is needed, and if we're Stevie Bakwetu, we are here, Potuji. We are here to be the sounding board. We can't say that this administration has lacked people to help advise it. No. Galakutira balanda ati tabakweta abantu nishikwena tabalelanda echinga. Bantu epotuli. And we've been here right from the start. Okweba tuchite steer ama conversations ya moya mwefintu filondoloke bwino. So our president should not feel like no. We are here and we are going to help. Echo nomba tuwakwatira nei saying ne nakaka grouping today kakwebati tukontrole. That is not what is happening here. What is happening here is that Baliama visible people. Abo ba PF balevo mfia. Simple. Put them in the background. Kajaptira namo batemo. Babi ken kuisa ku background. When you put them ku background, mualeta po abantu bampantanshi. It's psychological. People will be looking at these people and saying, "Oh, ababantu beso, abanatu beshiba, abatu alabomba nabo." No, the very people about still persecute abantu. It's going to be tough. Jerome, what do you think?
Vamos, I think you have said, I think very well. And from the way things are moving, I think we are moving at a very slow pace. And we all think there is a lot of expectation from the members of the public on the new Dawn government. And not only that, you see, the PF made a lot of Zambians and a lot of UPND supporters suffer a lot, and most of them lost businesses. Most of them lost jobs. Most of them were not promoted. Most of them were not even employed in civil service. So, and most were fired in civil service. So the 10 years of PF was about the matter of preparing themselves and give themselves proper positions that if this one dies, there is also this one who's going to take over, and it goes like that. For example, Vamusha, let me come from the presidential first, the US trip itself. You have seen the difference actually between the previous administration and our able president, the HH administration, in terms of the way engagement in the USA. If it was in the previous administration, we would have just heard to say they have spent more than 18 million or 20 million, and most of this money would have gone to drink that one which Dante Crazy likes. Is it Hansen's or whatever kind of the beer? You'd have heard that, and today would have.
It's actually a piece of steak. It's not a beer. That's why
So in that way, you would have seen today a lot of videos circulating in circles, seen wakateka na vevila na abashana katika Twitch. That again, that shows to you that there was a lot of mismanagement in the presence of the leadership by the now. President Church has been in the USA, and right there, the US had signed 18.5 million to Zambia to help fight COVID-19 and other COVID-related matters in the Ministry of Health and other ministries. And in this, we have COVID-19 technical advisor who's moving with the president and is with the president. And now we have also Zambia National Public Health Institute, which is managed by the Professor Mkonka, I think is the director there. Yeah, then we have also Minister of Health there, who's managed.
Jerome, I see that you're getting into the substantive of the arguments that you have. I just wanted to make sure that Paliumutende, as I exit briefly, so that you remain with the substantial issues.
Because I need to to link you so that you say, Mempun, that no, you need to make what a matter or whatever, you need at least to come up with. So I want to bring you in so that at least you can understand what I'm trying to say. So that 18.5 million, it is coming again the Ministry of Health, and mostly the institution that is looking into the issues of COVID-19 currently is Zambia National Public Health Institute. And in the previous administration, and I'll draw with him, we have Mkonkaye, Professor Mkonkaye. Him, Mkonka, together with the Edgar Lungu, they ate 90 million kwacha, which was given by World Bank, and that money was made for COVID-19. And not only that, we move further now to say, check all the contracts that were given to cadres. All those were coming through Zambia National Public Health Institute together in collaboration with the Ministry of Health. You have seen Kalandanya supplying face masks. When did musicians know the specification of face masks, test kits, and other things? We have seen earth-moving companies supplying vaccines. Where on earth do earth-moving companies supply vaccines? All those things were because, and were seen by Mukonka under his institution, which is Zambia National Public Health Institute, which has not done a good job. Supported by Marama on the other hand as a PS technical services in the Ministry of Health. And we have seen that because most of these things are technical. We saw a lot of, we were here when we were begging to ask you people in diaspora to contribute or donate anything to the members, to the health workers in Zambia, because mkulwala kwa COVID kwa sachamo. And those things, we did all the contributions, and the money was raised, and things were actually brought to Zambia for health workers. And these are technical matters. But look what happened. And I don't know why we are still keeping Marama there as a permanent secretary. Instead of the supplier supplying the N95 masks, those N95 masks are scientifically proven, and that 95, it is the percentage on the protection they are going to give to you as the person who have put it on them. It's not just a number. No, it's scientifically proven to say bacterial, viral, and whatever thing, they are not going to penetrate to you.
Your point, Jerome, is they've stolen money.
Yeah, I want for people to understand so that they know that the payment sector technical service is a wrong chap to be there. You see? Then what happened? Karandanya and the other groups, whoever were there, they brought in what is called KN95. You see? Not N95, but KN95 without any scientific study on those masks. Then they gave out to the health workers. No wonder we saw now health workers being exposed, and we lost a lot of health workers there. And that didn't end only there. We saw issues in the hospitals where oxygen ran out. Well, we are in the midst of fighting COVID-19. Not that oxygen has run out the entire country. No. In the hospitals, oxygen running out. And this is a technical matter. It is not an admin matter, but a technical matter.
Jerome,
yes,
you try to create a distinction between an administrative matter and a technical matter. So what you are saying is, at the Ministry of Health, there are two permanent secretaries, right?
Yes, we are
one responsible for technical and one responsible for administration. Okay.
Yes.
Now, they have removed the one responsible for administration. Am I correct?
They have removed two of the permanent secretary responsible for administration.
Okay.
They removed Kaku under President Edgar Lungu. Then under President Ichdema, they have removed Matthews. It should be Matthews in Groove, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
But
your argument is that it is not the admin PSS, but it is the technical PS who is Dr.
The technical PS is a big problem there. The technical PS is a big problem and the group for that.
Now, Jerome, Why isn't he being fired?
That's the reason that we are trying to say here, to say, and we are all getting surprised. Actually, Vamunja, most health workers are very much upset, and actually they are working at pain to see that Malama is still the permanent secretary there, because they have seen that Malama is the one who has put a lot of pain in them by choosing those directors who work with him there at Ministry of Health, who are trying by all means to put unnecessary stress on the health workers. So you have seen they have fired.
Who fires permanent secretaries?
It's the president. It's not the minister. It's the president.
Okay.
So now it is the president who need to make sure that these permanent secretaries are gone, and it's the president who's supposed to make sure that the permanent secretary for admin for technical services at Indeke House goes, because the problems are still there. Look, we currently have we have a lot of shortages of drugs, but you have kept quiet, and these are technical matters. You see,
okay.
We
now,
have not.
I do see your distinctions between technical and admin, and you keep going back to technical. I really don't care. For me, yonse idea structure up and Ndege House, it needs to be taken. It needs to be lifted in the air and thrown out of the window. Okuya iposa mungungulu, okupika popangungulu, ero nokusende ngungulu kuitwala kuisa kumarabo. I have no time, Jerome, for you to even create for me distinctions between this and that. No, the entire team at Ndege House should have gone like yesterday. I know that you as a technical person, you are concerned about admin and Shani. I don't care. The entire team, because Teti, Ministry of Health, Ishele in the same structure 1 month after the New Dawn administration. That is unacceptable. Now I know that you have more to address on that issue, but that is not just the issue at Ministry of Health. Everywhere, any misunderstanding about local government. It is here to actually clarify. We helped yesterday to clarify abantu that ala gari nkombo waka yere bantu ya commission. He has no power over it. But Percy is in the background. Percy, you are going to come here shortly. Bali for very yoni gari number. He received the clarification and he's like, oh, okay, that's fine. Gari wakaele. If you actually there is a commission, chairman Tamfia, number vice chairman has to step up to become the chair. Routine matter. Number the issue is that why should we even have that board in its present state? ZESCO, the same board is still there, and the director is still there. So number there is a certain level of lack of inertia across the civil service. Because all this confusion. But also politically, the UPND as a party itself as well has stalled. It's not working. It can't do anything. Mwaditeta is now stepping up, but are they in Eastern Province doing anything? No, because they are all in limbo. They are all confused. Commonwealth Secretary General Bonse very confused. Mwetwalesha kofira finaisa avepa kotufu panono atuvepa ikako atushinda kupata, but we know, it is too early. By UPND, we are here. Tatwa kamile keresheyo twala mianka obubuteko bwesu twala mianka nomba work on this very, very quickly. Otherwise, ngafyafuma mu maboko yesu ife nishina ife twalasambamo iriri neririyo tawafira ashupe efintu wamyeni kwe fintu bwangu UPND iri confused abamuteko na bela bari confused nomba nishi fyala chitika shana apo epaliko ka problem panono mwali tetarefo kuchitako drive, but here is the issue. If mwali teta sends a signal, I need to be very clear here. Gadaptila mwali teta nabambi abo twita tama tubeta chana bena mwali teta bena Romeo. What is their name? So food soldiers. If food soldiers Gabasa tumaka signal kamo to UPND cadres, you're not going to handle them. You won't. I'm sorry. Because Mwariteta Ngaraptila Baba frustrated. Ero nomba baposa mwetauro at they are going to go for everything, they're going to go the card away. You're not going to get them. That's why the best thing is to control the situation apapene. We are already 1 month beyond, but let it be controlled. It's better late than never.
Yeah, I think Vamusha, what you are saying is very true, and I was very much happy to hear Honorable Mariteta himself saying, "No, me, I'm a cadre," and that's very true. Just like I also tell the people, say, I'm a cadre, but the fact which is there is, even if you are a cadre, we have a lot of UPND members who can manage these institutions very well. He talked
Jerome,
about the Anti-Corruption Commission.
Jerome, you are giving the impression as if cadres cannot run anything well. Cadres can.
I'm a cadre myself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a cadre.
Mm-hmm.
I've been to school and I'm still doing my education, but I'm a UPND cadre.
Yeah.
So, so if I say we put that negativity on the cadres, I think that's something unacceptable.
Yeah.
We have issues of anti-corruption. We have issues of. Let me also talk about the issue of the deck. When there was a memo which was given out by secretary to cabinet that no one should be employed or transferred, but the commissioner at the DEC was employing the same week after the election, was employing, and the new officers, as we are speaking, have reported to DEC and they are working.
There is a huge thing that they need to get. They're investigating. They're working on cases. That's why you needed officers in DEC.
By employing new officers, well, the secretary to cabinet has stopped employment until the new government settles, because they are paying out.
They're investigating. They're investigating. Anyway, go on.
The commissioner was appointed by the PF, and the other senior officers were appointed also by the commissioner. And not only that, when you see the cases they're investigating their former bosses or the PF members. And once they go there, maybe they just sit there and say, we can't have 2 hours, wake them out to extend interrogate, and it goes like that. You see?
Okay. Now, Jerome, let's see. Shannon, because Shannon is his first time here. I want to hear your views. Mr. Ajande.
Yeah, Mwisha. Okay, so I actually listened to your conversation yesterday. I was listening to it today because of the time. I enjoyed the discussion. I must agree with you that there is a lot of frustration that is going on. But for me, I think I have a slightly different perspective of what should be done. So for me, the first thing, I think the biggest problem which the UPND government finds itself is communication. I think they are not communicating and they're not providing the citizens with a bit of an idea of what is it that they're doing, how are they responding to the current situation. So for me, that's the biggest problem that I see that exists, because the challenge that I see with the push for change, we are going to have a structure that is going to still continue having the 5 years cycle of change each time there's a new government. So if we move too fast without a proper strategy on what is it that we want to do, we are going to end up in the same cycle of recycling every 5 years, changing people. And this is very, very bad for the long-term agenda of the country. I think what we need is to, first of all, communicate what is it that we want to do. Yes, there are government ministries that have visible things that we need actions on. Those things need to be acted on. But in terms of replacing the current structure that is there, I think we really need not just a presidential appointment or an appointment that is just going to be based on politics. We need a transparent way of how these people are going to be appointed. It needs to be aligned to competence, career. It needs to be looked at distinct from the politics of the European government, because that way, when we set up such a structure, we are going to set up a long-term agenda of the country, because these government structures of the PS as well as the directors of different departments is really what runs the government. So if we are going to use cadres if we're going to replace them with other cadres, the next government for sure will also do the same. So we need to sit back as a country to say what we want to achieve in the next 20, 50 years.
Okay.
And then place people that have those competences to drive us that direction, who are going to go into it as a career, and who are going to be free to make those decisions, because they are protected by the structures that we have created.
All right.
But if we just
Mr. Akande, in your analysis, account for the political problem.
No, I completely understand the political problem, but that political problem can be sorted in different ways. For me, my view is we just need communication. The change that drove the UPND government is not just a political change, but it's a change of what the current state of the country is. And if we continue the same direction, I don't think we are going to solve the problem. We are going to continue the same cycles. So yes, we need to address those risky ministries immediately. Then they need to communicate how those structures are going to be managed, and the country has to be involved. That's for me, that's the point.
I agree. Nice points. I agree on the communication issue, that there's been serious lapses in communication in the new government. And if you remember very well, the first mishap in communication, if you remember, because history is being made here, and we are documenting it on the State House, moving State House thing. You remember it? And at that time, we had no communications person at State House. Maybe they were there, but there was no presidential spokesperson. That got misunderstood. And so you see, the thing is, you make one mistake, it continues spiraling on. If 30 days later, you've still not corrected it, so in my assessment, we are running between 1 year to 2 years behind schedule. Okay, that's my assessment right now. The issue with saying that this is going to affect the civil service, the best alternative is you get rid of obvious patriotic front cadres as in yesterday. Because you can, you can still restructure the civil service after having removed particularly the visible operatives of the patriotic front. Once that is done, then the career diplomats, the career civil servants are going to step up.
Exactly.
And then you restructure with that in mind.
Exactly, Mr. Musha.
The idea that this restructuring is going to happen with the visible patriotic front leaders in the civil service, that is what I disagree with.
No, I actually agree with you 100%. And this is what I said. I said, we need to look at the risky ministries that have those visible PF aligned people that have actually been seen to be a problem to the current system. So that has to be addressed. But my challenge is, if we do not respond in a way that sets up the structures that are going to go beyond the 5 years, we are going to repeat the same 5-year cycle every time. So I agree, we need to try and, yes, let's address the current gaps of where we have obvious cases. Let's address those ones immediately. Then to replace, let's make sure that we are methodical, but we also need to communicate.
Right. Now,
can I chip in?
Yeah.
I think one thing that we need to understand very well is issues of directors, issues of permanent secretaries, in most especially to our ministry. I'm coming from the health sector. They were not anywhere advertised. If it's for permanent secretary, it was there, and it's still the the president who appoints. So these you cannot remove them from the issues of politics. Then coming to directors, you find that the permanent secretary, together with the minister, they sit to appoint now people who are loyal to them and who are going to execute their mandate which they have as a party. So if we say we want Kadia civil service, we would have first been advertising some of these positions and have right people to sit in these positions. But unfortunately, under the PF administration, all the positions were unpicked positions where someone need to sing a lot of
Yeah.
PF songs, we need to show a
So,
lot of symbols.
so
So
I
in
do see
them,
agreement here.
yes.
I do see agreement, Jerome. I do see very clear agreement with between what Shannon is saying and what you are saying and what I'm saying. I think the issue then becomes, first of all, communication. Secondly, getting rid of the visible PF guys in some ministries, and as in yesterday, because that will help deal with the simmering political frustrations. Because there is something simmering there, you know, and so you deal with that very quickly because that is going to help manage this administration. If this administration loses people watching the president's back, it might collapse.
So,
You know?
Mr. Musha, the reason why I actually came on is I think we need to change our types of politics. For sure, I think we need to address the past. So those people that we identify that have issues immediately have to be dropped. But going forward, what Jerome said, yes, that was what was in the past. But we need a country that is going to be beyond the 5 years, and we can only do that when we put in a structure that is beyond politics, and we really have to emphasize that to the government that we want development, and development cannot take place in 5 years. Unfortunately, yes, it's some things can change, but if we want to see significant change that is really going to transform the country from a poor country to a middle income country, we really need to look at structuring systems that have civil servants that know that they're not going to be fired just because there's a change of government. So you attract all those professionals that want to do those jobs but are scared because of the lifespan of the career. So I think we need to concertedly change our systems.
But you realize that even under the current administration, civil servants are not easy to fire.
Yeah, but the permanent secretaries, it's easy.
Yes, up to
Governments
director.
have fired permanent
It's
secretaries.
only permanent secretaries. So when you say that the civil service, you are actually only talking about a very small group of people who get fired when the politics change.
But even the directors, I think, are fired as well. So yes,
No.
I think
If a director is fired, then they're going to be very no. You can't, right? You can't just go and fire directors because they're still civil servants and they're under the conditions of a civil servant, like a teacher or a nurse.
Mamusha, can I come in quickly?
But permanent
With your
secretary,
permission.
no. Yeah.
But Jerome and even Shannon, they are talking the same language. They are saying, yes, the permanent secretaries are appointed by the president, and most of them are politically aligned. But Shannon and Jerome, they've mentioned that even the directors, who are supposed to be civil servants, their jobs were not advertised. They were just appointed by the minister and the permanent secretary. And most of these directors are politically aligned. They are not qualified. Most of them, they are not competent. And Basharon is saying, if we have to have continuity beyond 5 years, these directors must be chosen on merit. And their jobs have to be advertised because they are not appointed by the president. This happens even here in the UK. When the new government comes in, all they change is the permanent secretaries. but the directors still remain from one government to another. But if the new permanent secretary or the minister doesn't like the director there, then they have to move that director somewhere else or retire that director and bring in a competent director. But directors should be appointed on merit. That's the only way we can go forward. And there's so many directors in PF that are not competent, and they are cadres. So what should we do to these directors? If we remove them, then Basharon is saying we need to bring directors on merit so that we move forward. There's continuity from one government to another, or that the president can remove maybe its permanent secretaries, but directors have to stay the same.
No, I think that is agreeable. I think we are speaking the same language. But for me, the concern is the immediate political issue. That is where my concern is. So if I were to be any advisor and I'm advising the president, I'm much more concerned about managing the political fallout now. You do have this long-term plan. It's a very good plan. You've got a very good heart, but you neglect this political fallout today. You cannot even plan ahead. And the problem is, if you fail to manage this political problem now, in months in, you're going to be worse than the people you hated.
I've just received a message from somebody. I think somebody has seen me on Wakwetu. Is saying, did the president address why it's taking long to root out the PF cadres from the government? This is just a message coming into my WhatsApp. So yes. These are some of the things. This is a UPND guy. I don't want to mention his name.
Yes, but
so people are concerned that there are so many. Like the other day, I received an email saying, "Why is the board at ZESCO still staying there?" Because ZESCO, imagine, Mamusha, I will tell you this. Mao Sampa started celebrating when he heard that the managing director of ZESCO has been fired. Why? Because ZESCO is one of the most corrupt parastatals, but the board is still there. Does it cost money to dissolve the board?
The
no,
director
it doesn't cost money.
Fired. No, Bachirufia. Breaking news: the director at ZESCO has not been fired.
So you see, so it was a rumor. So, but people are saying, why is that board still saying, and the same structure at ZESCO? The board, it doesn't take they're not compensated. They are not employed.
No.
Why do we still have the board there?
Yeah. Anyway, I think these are some of the issues that we'll continue exploring. Jerome, over to you.
Yeah, I agree well with Patrick, and just like he has mentioned, there is issues of boards still being still being the same boards. There are issues of directors still being the same boards, team directors, and the permanent sector still being the same. And these people have started, unfortunately, to switch off. Vapesi, just mute yourself, Vapesi. Yeah, these people, they have started to switch talk the new ministers, and this is what is frustrating now all the UPND members in terms of them being pushed. One, UPND members suffered for the past 10 years without being promoted. They suffered demotions. Some just being by just the name, they were demoted. They suffered a lot of them being transferred from one station to another station. They became nomads, you see, of the civil service. Now, today, you change someone to say, no, let's not take this one to be a director. Since we have fired a director, let's get an assistant. Even an assistant director is a PF member, because PF members were the only one who were promoted. Only PF members were the only one who were made to be permanent secretaries. Those, for me, I call them people who were user-friendly, you see, to the regimen that was there. Not people who are professionals, but people who are user-friendly. And in this situation, we find ourselves in a situation where the country cannot move any forward, but the country still stay like in wilderness. We come back again to the new Dawn administration. People are expecting to have massive changes in different institutions and ministries, but that massive changes are not yet happening. You see, there are very few ministries that have now taken an exception way of doing things, and that's Minister for Lands, Minister for Local Government, Honorable Gary Nkombo, Honorable Elijah Muchima, and now the Minister for Mines. They have taken exceptional stance, and they want to make sure that new things are done, and UPND members are also being considered like the other, like they are Zambians, like those PF members. We saw issues of Mukula licenses being given to only PF members. We saw issues of mining licenses being given to PF members. And this ministry, the Minister for Lands comes and suspends the licenses for Mukula. The Minister for Mines comes and suspends the licenses for what? For small-scale miners, because all of them were made like a cartel to the PF administration. But why other ministries are still delaying? Why the Minister for Energy still delaying to act on ZESCO? With all the stories about ZESCO, with all issues of the boards, the people who are in the boards, you see, the people who are in the boards for ZESCO, those were PF aligned. You know, do you know that even Antonio Mwanza is in the board for this economic mart facility zone? That board, Antonio Mwanza is still serving as a board member. Well, Antonio, you know very well that he is a PF cadre. And these are the things, we have a lot of people in these boards who are PF cadres. But why are we still keeping these boards? Go to the National Health Insurance Board, it's still there. Go to the Director for National Insurance Board. He was just handpicked to say, but Patrick, you are the same class. Come, you can be here. Eat also, my friend. That's how he was appointed as a Director for National Health Insurance Scheme. No advert, just handpicked because he was in the same class with a minister. Who does that? So these are some of the issues that we are talking about. These are some of the problems that you are talking about. Someone by Health Professionals Council of Zambia, who's one of the directors there, applied to stand under the PF ticket, and he was adopted. Then 2 days later, his adoption was cancelled. He goes back to Health Professional Council of Zambia and he reported back for work. And he's still serving there as a director. But we know very well that civil service need to be non-partisan. This person was partisan. Why the registrar for Health Professionals Council of Zambia allowed that person to come back for work instead of reading what condition of service talks about? And to make the matter worse, the person who was overlooking under these institutions like Health Professionals Council of Zambia is a permanent secretary for technical services. Is more of a PF cadre than a technocrat. They find someone who was a little bit much better, not looked to be of a cadre, and leave someone who was known and is still known in the health sector as a cadre. And people in the health sector are still complaining to say, how do they let this cadre to still remain as a permanent secretary where we are suffering here? I'm not seeing any UPND member or any UPND sympathizer in the Ministry of Health under the technical headship of Kennedy Marama to be somewhere promoted. I'm not seeing that. I'm not seeing any company that's a UPND sympathizer being paid for the supplies which they did. We'll continue seeing the same PF circled companies or PF involved companies winning tenders and being paid, because we have left a PF staunchman, a PF manager in the health sector under means of health in the name of Kennedy Madam. So these are some of the issues that we are saying to say, why can't we have a new start of people? And for your own information, we have read now that even the people who were directly last time fired because of unbe scandals in the Ministry of Health at Tindeke House. They have started to fight to come back at Tindeke House. Well, they were directly involved with NB issues because they know that their boss who was instructing them, who's a permanent secretary for technical services, is still existing there. And they have not seen any punishment. So these are the things that are happening. And these are sweet talkers, and they are sweet talking the Minister for Health. We have no drugs in the hospitals currently. People are bouncing as they go to the hospitals. They are not getting anything. But we are still, these people are still sweet talking the Minister for Health and start saying that, no, under the former administration, we were not working well. We were working under pressure. But no, if they were professionals, they would have resigned. We would have seen them resigning to say, I've resigned because one or two things is happening. But we didn't see that. Instead, they were authorizing and allowing those things to happen. So these are the people who are still serving under UPND members are questioning and asking to say, then if us we suffered for 23 years, if us we suffered for this number of years, then what is the purpose of changing the government? Well, the same PF cadres are the ones who are still serving even under the new administration with our president whom we protected all over. Someone who's a provincial medical director sending the ambulance where the UPND have been attacked in Northern Province was retired in national interest. Who facilitated that person to be retired in national interest? Who identified him? The permanent secretary for technical services. They identified the person to say, this is the person. And they forwarded the name to the president to retire that person in the national interest. Then today you keep Malama to continue as a permanent secretary? No, that's unacceptable. That's a PF cadre. That's a PF staunch. We need to change. We need to see new faces there. We need to see new blends. That's when we are going to have confidence in the Ministry of Health. Anyway, let me not say much. But Ruth, what is your say?
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Good evening. Actually, your frustrations, Jerome, are kind of mounting every day. Every day, it's a different thing that comes in. I don't know at what point UPND is going to kind of shift their steering into the right direction. I mean, just having good leadership without, managing what has been damaged doesn't mean that we are going to see any change. For me, really, I am frustrated because every day, Tule Mona, what is coming out more news that is very disappointing. When you look at abantu abachile fire, nabantu abashalamo, the damage still continues. Those people are never going to be loyal to UPND. They are still going to cover up things that PF crooks did. They will still distort evidence. They will destroy everything. Why are they still there even a month into, a month after we have won the election? I mean, it's just very frustrating. HH was victimized. A lot of people have been killed. Zambians were oppressed. All those things hurt, even if some of us are not back home. But we are hurt. And when we see UPND not really, kind of not being, they're very slow. And I wonder why it's taking so much time. Those should have been the first things to tackle. Fire everybody. Everybody that is PF, just fire them. There are so many educated people in the country. Clearly, they didn't do anything apart from destroying the country. Why are they still there? A lot of people are complaining, but I mean, our team is not going to be strong. you know, our team is not going to be strong at all. I think we need a shift. We need UPND to to sit down and start listening to people. They need to start working because this is not working. They are not doing the job at all. I mean, I do appreciate what the president has done so far, representing our country and everything, and being positive and everything. But sometimes you have to be, strong-handed. You just have to be that president who puts his fist down. I mean, I understand he's a Christian and all that. This is not, we're not dealing with people, we should, pat on the back. They need to be out and they need to be held accountable for what they have done. And enough is enough,
Thank you, Ruth. Dikezo, how are you? And what is your take?
Hello, Jerome. How are you? And hello, comrades and TV Bakweto. I'm going to touch more on the Ministry of Health as well, because I, for one, as well, I'm finding it very, very frustrating. Much as we've got the patience to keep waiting and saying something is going to be done, we are dealing with people who are not there to the longer they stay, in short, the more damage they're gonna make. Ministry of Health is a very, very sensitive department, very, very sensitive ministry. We've seen a lot that has happened in the past. Just like Jerome is saying, I don't understand why we still have this PS technical. Like Jerome has said, a lot of issues are emanating from there. Why is our minister still okay? I know perhaps maybe as the president comes back, we are going to see more of these changes again, like the PS technical, like Jerome said. It needs to go. He needs to be moved, reshuffled, or something. The whole board or whatever, the directors, they need to be moved. In Ministry of Health, we've got doctors, we've got nurses, we've got a lot of health workers who can come and run the ministry. It doesn't mean that these are the only people who can stay there. Actually, the same doctors who are there in my offices, Mudia, let them go to UTH. It's not like they'll lose their jobs, but they can be taken to other places where their services will be required. Let them go to UTH. Let them go and do direct care to the patients. So that ngabalefo kubika ama drips. Kanyula takwete. Iya kuvikila kwa minchi. IV fluid takudi. Maybe that's where now it will tick into reality, because to me, for them to be there at the offices, they are not seeing what is happening on the ground. The other thing I want to talk about is Honorable Minister Masebo. She needs to start move away from those offices, those people surrounding you. Leave them. They are giving you sweet talk. They are going to pollute you. They will pretend everything is okay. And yet the same PS and those directors, they are the ones who made us go into the scandal of this COVID vaccine. I've never had a country where they can allow a fake COVID vaccine to land into the country. And the next thing is they destroy it without even leaving a sample. Guys, that's a very big crime. We've had honeybee, we've had so many issues, and yet we still have the same directors sat there. And the other thing is, in the PF constitution, there's a part where it was clearly indicated to say, in most of the ministries, the heads of departments should be PF affiliated. I stand to be corrected if I'm wrong, but I saw it. It was there. So we have a big task here, whereby the longer we keep these people, the more problems we are going to have.
That's Article 3 of the PF Constitution that says that every permanent secretary and directors are supposed to be PF affiliated. It's there.
Exactly. So it's there in black and white. It's clear. It's there. Why are our ministers keeping these people? RD have already done it. They've dissolved. I mean, we've got a lot of people, educated people, a lot of people who are credible. to come and run at the ministry. It's not like when these people will be removed, the whole Ministry of Health is going to die. No, I'm a nurse myself, and I've done administration. There's nothing difficult about administration. Any nurse, any doctor, any paramedical can go and work in those offices. As our president gets back, he needs to make sure that these PF affiliated have to go and let other people come in. There are plenty of them. We want to see a very, very big difference. Already, like in the Minister of Mines, what is he doing? He's going round to the grassroots. We want to see Madam Masebo. Leave those Venaba Malama, let him, just leave them. Go and talk to the people on the grassroots. Go and talk to the nurses. Go and talk to the doctors, the clinical officers. Go and see what is happening get information from them, from the grassroots. Not those sweet talkers. They are preparing AMA reports, minister, and this is where we are going wrong. And she has to put her foot down. She has to build a new team. Remove all those people. Remove them. They won't die, for God's sake. Let them go and work in my district hospitals or wherever, where their services can still be there. And start afresh with a fresh team. Honestly, we are sick and tired. We are now in second month. We are still talking about this. We needed to make sure these people are removed. And for those people who are saying, no, let's have patience. Guys, PF is not a party where you can sit down and have patience. Right now, they are working flat out. They are working flat out. It's not a party where you can go sweet talk and say, oh, because we are Christians, oh, let's do this. They're busy working. As we are leaving those directors, they are also busy planting seeds into our UPND or even those people who are still in a bit of, dilemma. They don't know what to do. So the best we can do is dissolve all these, commissions or whatever, dissolve them. I remember when Vasata became president, he cleared every broad from MMD. The only difference with us by UPND, we've got a lot of people who are intellectuals, a lot of people who are educated, a lot of people who are credible to do this job. So I see no reason why this time we can still be talking about these things when we were supposed to have moved on and made sure the reshuffles or whatever. Actually, like I'm saying, most of them are doctors. Anyway, let them go to my clinics. Let them go into the rural areas. After all, they are the ones who were transferring people based on whatever small issues they were doing. They were transferring people to rural areas. Why can't the minister transfer them? I rest my case for now.
Okay, thank you. I think each one, let me give 2 minutes for each one. Andrew Butcher, in 2 minutes, what is your take? Andrew, are you there? Okay, Oscar, are you there? Oscar, are you there?
I'm here.
Yeah, 2 minutes, yes, please, in 2 minutes.
Yeah. Okay, I'm here. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. I think I can thank the lady Likazo. Is it? Musuma, the way what she has said.
Yeah, Likazo.
By Jeremy, please. Unless we do not understand that PF, we are full of criminality activities. If we do not understand this, then the Zambian people are going to give chance to Hakainde Hichilema. But if most of the Zambian people, they understand what harm, the harm that these guys have really brought to the country. You gentlemen, listen, okay, my profession deserves that I keep a very low profile. My how can I say? many people, they talk to me from both sides, from the PF, from the UPND. But the harm that we have really suffered as the Zambian people from the Patriotic Front, we have not time. There is no time to wait and see. There is no time. Jeremy, I can just look at you and ask your experience, what you have gone through. It is enough to convince Navamunshavene Kwebati. We need a forum, we need a day where we are going to say, Ba President HH Hakainde Chilema, there is no time for you. There is no time. Mwewanti Jeremy, when I heard the story of the Mukula staff today, Nachila Tumaine, Mwewantu, please. The harm is too much, and it is going on. Not that they have stopped. These guys, they continue in the mines, in the infrastructure sectors. The gentlemen are continuing because forever Sako study philosophy and psychology to learn that these guys are pathological. Mwalishi wa muntu nga walwala fyaba mumutwe walilwala fyaba mutwe teti bafifunya abantu mwebantu. They can't. We don't want Hakainde Chilema. This, Jeremy, listen to me please. The TV Bakweto family, please listen to this. We don't want Hakainde Chilema kneeling down in the United States in the church. It's not enough. We don't want him to show us that he is a Christian. He is more Christian than Lungu. We don't want that. It's not necessary. What we want is to put back the country in the right trajectory. Please, we don't have enough time. Jeremy, just in your sector yourselves, you guys in your sector, I have my niece, she's a doctor in Ndola, in the Ndola teaching hospital. I have my niece, she's a doctor. She has told me all the scandals in Ndola General Hospital. I know what is happening in Lusaka. I'm not going to tell you the doctor has told me because some of them, they keep their reservations. Please, we don't have time. I know it is difficult for Mr. Hakainde Chilema. It's difficult, but it is necessary. It is necessary. The people are going to say, look at what they're doing. Listen, this is philosophy. Huh? They are saying, Hakainde Chilema, yeah, okay, you want to vindicate yourself. You guys, you are very criminal. You are very, very aggressive. No, it's necessary. When it's necessary to become aggressive, let Hakainde Chilema become aggressive. Mwebantu abantu ababali onaula levintu bali onaula twapapata teifo twale ebale ngabene mwebantu bakwalesa.
Okay, but Oscar, the Kenny Perekuna Bamtumfueko to Arabwera again. I'll come back to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Okay. Vom Kelabai. Yeah.
Hello. Good evening. Well, Oscar, Father Oscar was on fire today. Well, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity as well. It's been a while since I was on the show. I've been listening to all the sentiments and I totally agree with everyone. And but the biggest thing that we need to understand, the bigger picture, is that let this gentleman not make a mistake, or this government not make a mistake by rushing things and then fumble. We will be here again talking about the same thing. I know it pains when we Zambian people see the very people that we booted out, and we still see their attributes still present in the current government. You talked about positions, the directors that are appointed, that are civil servants, and for them to lose their contract of service, they have to undergo a certain procedure. And unlike these people who were politically appointees, like the permanent secretaries, who can be hired and fired, or rather can be kept at the prerogative of the president. So we have to look at those things and say, okay, it has only been 2 months since UPND came into government, and they are doing exactly the same things that we are crying for, even though the pace it's quite slow. However, we need to have faith in these people. They are doing the right thing. I promise you, we are going to be smiling at the end of the day. But for now, I know most people in the UPND, especially those that did not receive any position or being appointed, it pains them a lot when they see some of the some of the PF connected members are still in government or working. They really want to see them gone, and they will go. They will go, I promise you. It is just a matter of time. We can be here. What you have to understand also is one thing, that this current government took over just a few months ago. The budget which is on right now is not Hakainde's budget that is working on. It is not Hakainde's budget. It is the budget of the PF. So all these activities or employment and everything, still PF's budget. Hakainde's budget is coming in next year in January. Probably, I don't know if that's the case. And that is when we can start saying, oh, now let's see what this man has done, what he's going to do, how he's going to share. And because within the budget, that is where you know how much manpower you need, who is going to take which position, how many people he's going to employ. Of course, just hold your guns. We are jumping guns, Rane. Twalitemwa sana former Zambian ukubutushe efintu. Elonga fyaluvana, we will be the first one. Awe na lelanda. And we'll be the first one saying teifwe. So let us just be patient. I know chilemi kalipa, but uku ikata sakala ni pakuboko. Uku ikata sakala. Already you can see this issue of that woman who stole money, or who was found in possession with colossal sum of money. The matter, she's even going gallivanting to the police, walking in and out with her former minister, her lawyer from the previous government, defending her. But you have to understand that there's a system, even though she's guilty. But Hakainde Hichilema cannot just go in and slap her with that case. We will point a finger at him. There's a system that we need to follow. Awavena Malama, is it Malama, what you call him? This is the technical director in the whatever. He will go. Don't worry about Jerome. He will go. I know that you have a negative attitudes towards him because of what he put you through, or what he put through the government, the current government of the day, when he was when the government was still in the opposition. Lekeni vavombe. Let us not push them. Yes, they hear our complaints, and our complaints are very legitimate. Hold your role. Don't push them hard so that they make mistakes. They are still new. They have never been in government, these chaps. It is their first time. They are also reading right now. What are the procedure? What are the rules? What are the laws? Already, we saw what happened in our when the president was appointing ministers. You know the issue. I don't want to go through that. He had advisors. Of course, the fear also is for these other guys who are being kept that they may jeopardize or sabotage the current government. That is why they need to either swing in swiftly so that they can put these guys on the side. Yes, they will. 2 months has only passed from the time we elected them. So I want to see these chaps behind bars and some of them just kicked out of offices. But at the same time, you have to understand one thing. They too are Zambians and they have rights, even though they are criminals. But we need to understand, but they will be put in the right place. Wait and see. Firoko tuleya. Chireva chire minyonga kumitima na ebe nabe na hakaendo for chireva nyonga na totela. Let me give others.
Thank you, Wapesi. I think let's come in. I think will come back with Mr. Patrick later over your points which you have raised. But Wapesi, say something before Wiseman comes in.
Okay, I hope everybody is fine. I agree a lot now. Basically, I agree with what the majority of you said. But myself, I still stick to my point. Actually, before I start talking, my brother Jerome, in your party, do you have the time you were in opposition, you had a committee for health, right?
Yes, we have. Yes, we have the committee for health. And I happen to be a member of that committee.
Okay, thank you. Then I'm even in the Mistokera Kumokanshi. Here, the point I'm trying to make is the blame stops at the head of state. I won't just leave the blame at the head of state. I'll put the blame at his committee in the party. So, Jeremy, you're also in that committee, so I also put you in there. Because you guys, your job, you were also supposed to give the president, because how many doctors were fired on national interest? Very qualified people. You can just recall them. So for me, to be honest with you guys, yeah, I won't condemn too much because in my books, I give them 90 days. That 90 days, I expect all the structures to be functioning. Not that 90 days, we are still talking about this. Because I know there's a process. I've heard a lot of people have mentioned that, yes, there's a process. And I also remember Mucha mentioned, for example, the directors can't be fired. Sometimes okay, they can be fired, but it's tricky. Should I put it that way? Yeah, I'm a lawyer, but it's correct. It can be tricky. So it's things like that. You, as the committees, which were created in the party, yeah. Yes, for example, Gary Ngombo was in the committee for elections, to win the elections. He did his job. You are in that. So what about your committee, Jerome? What did it do? Nothing. Because right now we can't be talking about health when UPND had advisors which had a committee. What's the job of that committee? To give information to the president. Right now, the president doesn't have information for him to choose people he wants. That's what I would say as a person from outside. That's the first point. At the moment, as I said, if you guys, because everybody knew that Hakainde was winning the elections. That's one thing we should all bear in mind. Everyone knew, except the 1.8 million. They're the ones who didn't know that, who didn't believe that they win. Okay? But the rest of the country knew. So why didn't he have just a skeleton, you know, a group of, even if they won't be MPs, like you, Jerome, you are not an MP, you're not a what, but you are in a committee. Why didn't they create such just a skeleton to just help him? Okay, this one, you know, because even the MMD, when they were coming into power, UNIT was all over. They managed to do it nicely than Hakainde is doing it. And remember, UNIP was in power for 27 years. So the seeds were over. Some of us were okay. The majority in on this panel, they are children of Kaunda. We're all born during Kaunda time. You know. So let's be realistic. The president is slow. He needs to up his game. They shouldn't be reacting when they hear people complaining. E.g., Gary Ngombo had to go and give a press conference just because he had to react from people complaining about what happened. So the president needs to do something about that. I'll leave it there.
Okay, thank you. Wiseman, long time. What is your take?
Yes, Jerome. How are you, my brother? Long time indeed. Good evening and good afternoon to all the Wakwetu family. I think it is my pleasure as well to see Mr. Mkelevai now, the way I normally like seeing him than the other day. Anyway, Mkelevai, good evening to you, sir. Good afternoon to you as well. I think, Jerome, I agree with what Mr. Mkelevai has said. I totally agree with what everyone has said in this panel, but I agree with Mr. Mkelevai 100%. Jerome, I think we have to understand what UPND is doing. UPND, they want to do things differently. They have said they want to do things different. If I can take you back, Jerome, just relax. If I can take you back, we had UNIP. When UNIP lost power, MMD came into power. Chiruba did the same, fired everyone, including the guard. What did we achieve from such kind of activity? Nothing. Manawasa came into power, did the same. The lashing of firing, excitement. What did we achieve? Nothing. When Sata came, Sata even fired, including the dogs which were moving with the police. What did we achieve? Nothing. So even in this regime, even Dr. Edgar Chagwalungu did the same as well. Fired everyone. Jerome, you know about that. What did we achieve? Nothing. So Mr. Hakainde Hichilema saw it fit to do something different. Yes, we agree, PF, they are criminals. But in as much as they are criminals, Jerome, again, I'll take you in another biblical way, I think, which we all understand that in the Bible, there is God and Satan. God has the power to eliminate Satan, but he has left him to be maneuvering around. Not that he can't remove him. That's what it's happening here. Hakainde Hichilema has the power to remove everyone. But you know, this is the government. The government is broke right now. If you, Jerome, you have been employed now and then, all what you will be looking for is your payment and to see what you are going to get next. Hakainde Hichilema is not saving this country to impress the UPND member, us UPND members, no. He's saving this country to impress the Zambian, including the PF now. He want to show them that this is how we take care of the Zambian people. But if you're going to rush to say, no, let's fire everyone, then replace them with, no, we are not power angry. We were not power angry. We were here to save the people of Zambia. We wanted to come and rule this country to save the people of Zambia. So if you're going to push, no, we are all not happy with what is happening, but we need at least to relax a bit. Let this gentleman come back into Zambia. Let this president come and do the right thing. We are going to ask him questions when he do the wrong thing. But right now, as you know, he said when he began his government, he said don't arrest anyone until you investigate. So now imagine when you start firing these people anyhow, you're going to give pressure to these people like Vadek and the police. Let Vadek and the police investigate them while they are in the office. Mukara munatati lero batamfi omuntu mairo ali masales. Lero batamfi omuntu mairo baikata. Nishiba ekitaka le investigate. Anyway, I've seen it is 1 hour 30 minutes as the rules of this TV Vakwetu.
Jeremy, can I come in quickly before Vamusha closes?
Yeah, please
Yeah,
come in.
but wise man, I beg to disagree with you. What you're talking about here, we're talking of a criminal gang. You know, we're talking of PF. You know, stealing, criminality is in their blood. Just today, wise man, who knew that Mukula is still going out? Which no, let me finish. You've spoken. Can you mute yourself?
That's what to ask.
Can you mute yourself? You've spoken, please. Can you mute yourself?
About that point.
No, wise man, you can't answer me. You've spoken already. Let me talk now. It's my time.
No, he's
That's
trying
the answer,
to
sir.
correct you.
No.
Me
wise man, you can't answer. You are the time to talk.
You have asked me
That's
a question.
That's not how it works, wise man. Let me talk.
Stop patronizing wise man.
No, I'm not patronizing Mamkelebai. Mamkelebai, who disturbed you when you were talking? You spoke for 5 minutes.
No, you took over his point and you were answering.
He finished.
Even you spoke. So me, I wanted to respond to your question.
I just made a comment, wise man. So wise man, let me talk now.
Mute yourselves. Let Mr. Patrick finish, please. Mute yourselves.
Let me finish, wise man. So wise man, what we're talking about here, Mam Keleba mentioned about giving the president time, and you cannot investigate. Look at Minister of Health, the scandals that were there. Malama was involved in the scandals. The directors were involved in the scandals. They even took them to parliament. It was their live parliamentary committee. Those people are still there. And the cartels there, President Akainde knows, the cartels there. You know, Minister of Health is one of the most highly funded by the donors ministry in our country. Maybe the next ministry that is going to be like Minister of Health is the Ministry of Green, the Green Ministry. That ministry is going to be funded. And if we don't watch that ministry, the scandals will be like Minister of Health, because there will be a lot of money there. So that ministry stinks. So 30 days after UPND went into power, there's no way they can leave that ministry without at least the director, technical director, and the director, they should go. Because you cannot do forensic investigation while the criminals are there. No, Bamkeleba, I need to finish. You remember HH and other political parties, they were telling Lungu, there's no way Chilufya, Dr. Chilufya can be in office while he's being investigated by the AC. Why? Because you cannot investigate a person when he's sitting there. They'll start shredding the papers. They'll start sabotaging the system. So we are not saying it should fire everybody. There are certain ministries that everybody knows. Ministry of Health is one of them. Let those people go on leave for 3 months, or move them into other. They are doctors, for God's sake. Let them move into other departments, but they shouldn't be there when the investigations are done. And then communication. If those people are investigated, there's no proper communication. That's why people are anxious, because there's no proper communication at all. And Ministry of Health, Honeybee, look at Honeybee, ambulances, condoms, all those scandals. You tell me Dr. Malama will still be there. And the money that goes into that ministry, donor-funded money, there's no way that those people should be there up to now. This is the concern of so many people. And you cannot investigate somebody when that person, I'm an accountant, Bamkelebai. if in my department they suspect that I'm involved in a scandal, you know what they will do? They will just call me, don't come to the office, you are suspended. Because they don't want me to go and destroy evidence. And I can do that, Mamkerebai, in a second. Because I know they're investigating me. I will destroy everything. And then look at Zesco. So people are not saying fire everybody. Look at Zesco. Even PF people were celebrating when there was a rumor that the director of Zesco has been fired, but he wasn't fired because Zesco stinks. 52 suspected UPND members, because they think they come from the Zambezi provinces or they are sympathetic of UPND, were fired. So how do you keep that on? Bamukelebai, it doesn't cost a cent to dissolve the board of Zesco.
Mineni kwa Matevawish. Question.
Yes.
What will be appropriate time in your opinion?
There's no appropriate time, Bamukelebai.
No,
there are certain strategic ministries which every Zambian know that ministry stinks. So there's no way, because Bamukelebai, yes, the budget of UPND is going to come next year. But we are running the government now from the PF government. So, how do you repair a destroyed economy by the same people who destroyed it?
Yeah.
How do you do that?
And do you think Hakainde doesn't know that?
So that's why people are concerned. That's why people are concerned.
Can I just say something?
Right. Did you listen to Lusaka province chair today? The same concerns, because people are worried that SEC and DEC are colluding with the PF, because those guys, they are not doing anything. They're so. If you listen to what's his name, the PF, the chair of the UPND chair of the Lusaka province, Moliteta. Imagine if Moliteta can come on social media and say, why are the things so slow? Because the FCC guy was appointed by Lungu. The DEC guy was appointed by Lungu. They will frustrate the investigations, those guys. They are friends to come to all those
Dr. Barbara Chand, and then we are going to close.
Okay, thank you for putting me on the show. I was in earlier on, and then I just pressed the wrong button, and I went out, and it was really full at the time. My feel about all these things is, first and foremost, we are living in a digital world, and we are living in the instant reaction world where we want, we are the microwave generation. We want everything now, done, and eaten right there and then. So personally, I feel we need to give HH some time. However, he needs to prune the rotten leaves on the trees that are already smelling. The smelling trees is the Ministry of Health. The Ministry of Health needs to continue managing it, to continue functioning, because they can't sack everybody. But the rotten leaves have to be plucked out, and that's like an immediate thing that has to be done, including Zesco. The rotten leaves have to be removed immediately whilst the system is still working. But on saying that, I've been new PND for the last 17 years. I never even supported SAT. I will not lie. In my family, not supporting SAT is the same as saying you're a Satanist. I didn't support him. I was the only one. If I've stood by this guy for 17 years, I'll stand by him because I trust him. Yes. However, we also have to be very careful within UPND. We cannot be chasing the news. The news should chase us. What do I mean by that? Who's managing the news at SEC? Who's managing news at the police? Who's managing news? We are the ones chasing the news. We are being told this is what is happening, and then we start running about like headless chickens. It should be the other way around. We should be the one in charge of knowing what's happening to the people that are investigated. We should be the one
knowing what is going on with the people that are stealing. Right now, I'm sorry to say, we are functioning like people in opposition. We are not in opposition. We're in government. We should manage the news. We should direct the news that people are reading. Even if it's just giving them some bananas to chew on, we should do it. That's what everybody does. Even in the Western world, they'll give you some news to talk about just for the sake of it.
On that note, thank you very much for joining us on our discussion today. Thank you, Jerome, for holding the fort together. We're going to be back again tomorrow. We're going to have our Honorable Mabeta, who is also our resident parliamentarian, who gives us some inside information about what his activities are at Parliament, and also with regard to his constituencies in Kankoyo. It's like TV Bakweto and Kankoyo are like phone and the SIM card. And so we have a lot more to discuss, and tomorrow there is likely to be more news that we are going to be looking into. This has been TV Bakweto, Elias Moshe here, together with my co-host Jerome Kanyika and several of our TV Bakweto family. Good night, and God bless you, and God bless our country. Thank you.